what is getting awkward and weird?
What's
Like
that?
ending phases without an Avengers movie. I guess you could count Thunderbolts as an Avengers movie. I guess, but like it's the phases are getting confusing because they're kind of just coming and going. Usually, I
Kind
will
of
say
a
the first three phases always had an Avengers movie at the end of it.
mm, and it's feeling a little unorganized. It's feeling a little disorientating because there's no there's no clear end and clear beginning when we're talking about these phases. So I feel the pain. I honestly feel the pain.
Yeah, I think the first three phases in the MCU were like peak MCU. I mean,
Yeah,
I like the characters and I like the ideas that they're coming with in phase that they came with phase 4 and 5. But the execution just wasn't the best. Although looking back at some of the projects that we got out of these phases, I don't think it's as bad as people are making it seem.
I feel as though in the first three phases there was a clear direction because we knew what they were getting to in the first three phases, but like we've spoken on before, it was so phase the end of phase three was so powerful. It's like what could you do to follow it up in the next phases? Like who could you
Yeah.
bring in now? And I understand they had the plan, but it just felt like we had reached like such a height that anything else just seemed like it really wouldn't take us further.
I think you hit the nail on the head, bro. I think the problem with phase 4 and 5 or phases 4 and 5 is no sense of direction. And I
Yeah,
think phase 6 is going to correct that. Hopefully not overcorrect it, but they're going to fix that. Like we have a clear direction now. I think it was just phase 4 and 5 were just all over the place, bro. It was like what is the goal here? Like
yeah.
what is happening?
Taking like remnants of what we had from the previous phases and trying to find which way we're going. And but I felt like the way that they were introducing new characters, I mean that wasn't a total loss.
Yeah, look, the projects aren't bad. So phase
Yeah,
4, I Am Groot, the little mini series or whatever the heck it was, the shorts, Black Widow, Loki, What If, WandaVision, Shang-Chi, The Falcon and Winter Soldier, Eternals, Spider-Man No Way Home, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, Hawkeye, Moon Knight, Wakanda Forever, She-Hulk, Miss Marvel, Thor and the Love and Thunder, Werewolf by Night, Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. It wasn't terrible.
I think as far as like phase four, the difference between phase four and five. So phase four is like a post Endgame reset. It focused more on grief and a legacy, and
Mhm.
it was the way to set up the multiverse. Because like you said, they had WandaVision, Loki, Multiverse of Madness. But it honestly, from a lot of fans, I believe it received like mixed reception, and
Yeah.
it felt real experimental. It didn't feel like grounded. It didn't feel like, it was established. It was just real experimental. Like, let's just throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks. And then when
Yeah.
you look at phase five, now it's a little bit more structured and it was Kane like focused. It was because we knew what was gonna happen, but you know,
Mhm.
unfortunately what happened. So we kind of
Yeah.
got cheated out of getting Kang. I mean, that phase I felt like it was gonna be a little bit more cohesive because now you have Quantum Mania. Like you said, we
Mhm.
had Loki.
Yep.
And then Deadpool and Wolverine. But
Mhm.
yeah, but like I said, we got cheated out of Kang.
Yeah, phase 5, like you said, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, The Marvels, Deadpool and Wolverine, Captain America Brave New World, and Thunderbolts were the movies in phase 5, and the shows in phase 5 were Secret Invasion. Ooh. Oh, okay. Loki season 2, What If season 2 and 3, Echo, Agatha All Along, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which was really dope. Daredevil Born Again and Ironheart.
What was Echo again? Oh, Echo. Yeah, that's right. I almost
Mhm.
forgot Echo. Yeah, that
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, now I remember Echo. Yeah.
Yeah, looking at it, that's weird. I would say phase 5 was a bit more cohesive than phase 4, but I think phase 4 had the better projects. Am I
Phase.
biased?
Oh well, look when Phase Four happened. It happened during the pandemic, so we were pretty much at home, able to enjoy and watch this stuff, and the other things weren't coming out during this time.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. It's like, okay, some people, Black Widow has mixed reviews. I think if Black Widow came out directly after Civil War, which Kevin Feige, that's what he wanted in the first
Mm,
place. He wanted to follow Civil War. Um, it'd have been better. I think it would have been perceived better. Loki season one is amazing. WandaVision was amazing. Shang-Chi was actually a very good movie. I enjoyed Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Loki
Eternals,
season 2 was really good.
yeah, Loki season two was good. Eternals is was okay. It just was random. I think I don't think we needed Eternals. And like what purpose did they serve? Like it's we still don't understand
Same
what
what
purpose
happened.
they're serving.
The only
Um
thing that we got from that was the fact that that one giant what is that thing called?
Celestial?
The the celestial, that's the only thing they shown that the celestial in the ocean, and then that got brought up again in Brave New
Brave
World,
New
so
So it's been there all these years, and people are just now.
yep.
When you look at from a satellite on the space, you would be able to see a giant head in the ocean. That's neither here nor there. Spider-Man No Way Home is was amazing. Um,
One of the best Spider-Mans in my opinion.
yeah, Multiverse of Madness. I enjoy it personally. I can see why people may not like it, but I enjoy it. Hawkeye is one of my favorite MCU shows, if not my favorite MCU show. I'm biased. Moon Knight is my guy. I love Moon Knight. Wakanda Forever. I don't think this movie it gets it's not really fair because Chadwick passed
Mm,
away.
yeah.
So they had
But
to work with what they had at the time, man.
But what with the way they did it, I respected it. The way
Mhm,
they brought in Shuri to make her, I mean, I obviously I don't, she's not going to carry the mantle of the new Black Panther, but the way that they used her as the next to just get through this film
mhm,
and kind of honor Chadwick's legacy, I enjoyed that aspect. And then they introduced, as far as like some new characters, I introduced like Riri Williams, and then
mhm,
Namor.
mhm.
I enjoyed that. So I mean,
Yeah,
that's those aspects, we get to enjoy.
yeah. And people like I said, they wanted the recast T'Challa. We get it.
Yeah.
We get it. He is happening now. But at the time, I think people don't didn't consider the personal aspect. Like this is their friend. Like
Yeah.
this is difficult. Like it's a difficult time. Like I get it. I'm all for T'Challa. T'Challa's one of my he's right there. He's one of my favorite characters in fiction, period. But I understand why they did what they did. You don't have to agree with it to understand. And I think they did good with what they had.
Yep.
She-Hulk, I'm gonna be honest with you. If people hate She-Hulk, I personally like She-Hulk. It's annoying at times where they like have the woke messages, like but I'm like, dude, who cares, bro? That's how some women in the world really feel like this. So it's fine, like to be on. If it's a woman show, it's fine to have a woman's perspective on life. It's okay.
Yeah.
But
I think just the thing that kind of took me by surprise is the fact that to start these phases, we get all these movies, and then post pandemic, we get all these shows. So
mhm.
that's just the thing that kind of made it hard for me to keep up with everything. But
Yeah,
I understand the reason why they had to have the shows, because now they're introducing these new characters and they get to take time with the new characters instead of just having them in a movie. You have to get through their story really fast. You only have like 2 hours to tell their story, bring in the main villain, and then end the movie. Whereas
mhm,
now you have like 6, 7, 8 episodes to tell a story about a character that you could be familiar with, that you might not be familiar with, but at least you get to see their story, see how they became who they are, and then you get them connected with other characters in different movies or from different or shows and things like that. So that's what made that interesting.
yeah, and I think it makes sense,
Yeah.
right? In the comics, like we got the big stories in the comics, Secret Wars, all this other stuff in the comics, where all the heroes and villains get together for something big. But things are still happening every day. Street level
Yep.
things are happening like all over the world in these comic books. So it's hard to tell all these stories in a movie. And I think I get why I actually enjoy shows more for certain characters, but I get why Marvel is kind of going away from it, releasing less shows because they're spending a lot of money on it,
Mm,
the budget for the shows. But I think, like you said, it was an experiment, and I think they lost money, but I think they learned from. Hopefully, they learn from it because they're not doing as many shows. But when they do make a show, it's meaningful. Like the Young Avengers. The Young Avengers do not need a damn movie. And at this point, they're not the Young Avengers anymore.
The
They're
old
like
Avengers.
so I think they're going to change. Yeah, they're going to transition to the champions because a lot of these actors are the same ages as some of the actors like Chris Evans. Chris Evans was when his in his early 30s when he got casted as Captain America. Haley Steinfeld's what,
He's
27, 28?
28.
Gosh, she a younger Avengers. So she's about the same age Scarlett Johansson was when she was casted as Black Widow.
Yeah.
So
It's
you're not young.
yeah. Yeah, I honestly, I feel like that they could probably make a Young Avengers. It's just that, like you said, they really don't have that youthful glow, so to speak. So it would make it a little
Yeah.
difficult. But they can figure something out. You know, these writers, these directors, they can figure something out.
Yeah, they're gonna transition to the champions. That's all it's gonna be. It's something that's it's called the champions, where it's younger heroes, but it's not the young
Yeah.
Avengers. It's basically the young Avengers, but they're not young. So they already been putting the planting the seeds for that with Hawkeye or Kate Bishop, um, and Agatha all along. You've seen Wanda's son and looking for his brother. So those two, you got the super soldier, the black super soldier. I forgot his name slipped out of my mind.
Isn't
His grandson.
isn't what's her name? Miss Marvel? No.
Yeah, Miss
Yeah.
Marvel's gonna be yes, yes, you're right, Miss Marvel. Her, this grandson of the Black Captain America. I can't believe I can't remember his name right now. So all those characters gonna get together and become the champions, and it's already started. The younger Avengers, we it's too late, but we don't need a movie. I would rather see that in the show. Combine the budget because Hawkeye cost $150 million to make. Miss Marvel cost $150 million to make. You got $150 million budget for all these each individual show. Why don't you just combine some of these characters' stories and put it in one, and use the same budget so you're using your money effectively.
It would be weird. It would
Because
be
that
weird to have it as a movie, honestly. Cuz just
yeah, I wouldn't want to see
cuz
that.
cuz like you said, some of those characters are a little brand new, and just having them combined in a movie was just to me it just wouldn't make sense, because what about all the other characters that we have?
hmm Yeah, I think they're separating. They're gonna draw a line between the movies and the
Mm.
shows, and only certain characters are gonna cross over. But god damn it, I want to see Daredevil and Spider Man on this. Like we seen it in No Way Home, but it was Matt Murdock, not Daredevil. I want to see Daredevil and Spider Man in the movie together. God damn.
We probably will get it,
But
because we look, the Punisher and Spider-Man are teaming up, so we'll probably get something of the sorts as far as like Daredevil and Spider-Man teaming up. They're probably working on it.
we yeah, I think if it wasn't for Sony, it would have been happened.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, but I think what phase like we were talking about earlier, what Phase 5 did better is Phase 5 had a sense of
Hmm.
direction. It just had a sense of like it felt like they know what they understood what they wanted to do and they're working to get there. And I think it highlights. I think that what do you think is the highlight of Phase 5? I would say either Deadpool and Wolverine. The Thunderbolts was a fresh take and it felt good. But I would say for me personally, the highlight of Phase 5 is
Deadpool and
probably
Wolverine.
Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Thunderbolts was a flop, and I understand that you don't you don't have to make a lot of money in order for the movie to be good. But the thing is, this
hmm
movie, it made sense, and obviously you were able to bring, I guess, a new take on the Avengers, and this is gonna be help us set up the next phase. But still, like you said, I feel like Deadpool and Wolverine. And if you're trying to figure out what the highlight was, I feel like it was them, because now you have a whole bunch of possibilities that you could take after making Deadpool and Wolverine.
hmm Ooh, Agatha all along is good
I
too.
enjoyed it.
I would say that's yeah, I would say, and I'm biased, but I'm Daredevil. I'm a Daredevil person, so I'm always gonna pick Daredevil over anything. I'm biased, I can admit that. But yeah, you're right. I agree completely. Deadpool Wolverine. I think it was a big moment. Having Deadpool in the MCU. This is MCU debut, and it's also Hugh
MCU
Jackman's
debut.
MCU debut. And I think
Eh,
people been waiting to see this for years. I want to see Hugh Jackman and Robert Downey Jr. on
And
screen
it was a
together.
good ending for Fox. It was a good send off for Fox. Now you get to take two big
Mhm.
characters and put them within the MCU. So, or however they're gonna use them in the future. But yeah, like you were
Yeah,
saying, that now you have the possibilities to use Wolverine however you want to use him.
yeah. Part of me kind of wants them to move off of Hugh Jackman.
Really,
Like, dude, yeah, part of me does. It's the same feeling like when I felt like why are they bringing Robert Downey Jr. back? I know why, but it's like, dude, sometimes we gotta let shit go, man. Like I love Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. He's one of the most iconic. He's going to go down as one of the greatest comic book castings ever. But it's like, man, if they're going to start over, let's
use
start
someone new.
over. Because he's been Wolverine for by the time Doomsday comes out, going on 25 years?
I mean, he's like you said, he's so iconic to the character that it feels like changing him would be wrong. But uh, I don't know.
No one will like whoever
No
you
one would like
cast.
you.
No, everybody
Automatic
people would be
pushback.
pissed.
You could get someone who is more born for the role for Wolverine than Hugh Jackman, and you would still get pushback.
Yeah, who cares? They're like, who fuck it. How's Hugh Jackman? What he's think about this. Wolverine in the comics is like 5'4",
Yeah.
5'5". Hugh Jackman is 6'1", six
Well,
two.
they're
Like,
always some of the height stuff
mhm.
really wouldn't. Some of the height and build stuff kind of doesn't really matter when you do it in movies. I
Yeah,
mean, think about this.
yeah,
A lot of the woman character or a lot of women actors in a lot of these movies, especially these action movies, they're a lot shorter than what you would see on the screen. But it's just
mhm,
the way they use the cameras and different angles and stuff like that. It makes it look like they're the same height as their co-stars.
mhm. Yeah, they do that with Robert Downey Jr. too. Robert Downey Jr.
They
is
do
like
it with
5'8".
Tom
Chris
Cruise.
Evans is
He's
like
like
yeah,
5'3". Well,
yeah,
he's taller than that,
yeah.
but
They're all short. Yeah, but because Chris Evans is
yeah.
pretty tall, so but if you look on every time Robert Downey and Chris Evans on screen together, they look the same exact height. So it's pretty funny. But what I'm getting at is like when like you can get the perfect actor for the comic book version of Wolverine, and people won't like it because of Hugh Jackman. You know what I mean? So it don't matter. But it's just like, man, if they're gonna reset everything,
Reset it. Go you say
just reset
just
everything.
go hard reset. No, don't have any remnants
Mhm.
of what we had in the past. Just everybody brand new.
Well, at least for the X-Men. I feel that way about the X-Men. If you're gonna redo it, redo everybody. Just redo cast new people for every character. But they're not going to, and I get why. Because what's gonna happen when Hugh Jackman says, "Fuck it, I don't want to do this anymore." We're not gonna have one of the most important characters in the X-Men going forward.
Yeah,
You know,
then
or we
you
could
have
get
to
a
recast them now.
yeah,
If he said no
yeah,
to it,
and
then you have to recast them
yeah, it's gonna be
Yeah.
over with, bro. So say he does like when they reset the MCU and he is in one of the X-Men
Mhm.
movies, what's gonna happen when he says, "I don't want to do this anymore. I've been doing it for 30 years. I don't want to do this anymore."
That's
What's
what
gonna
con
happen? Now we're gonna have to
that's what the
recast him
contracts
anyway.
are for. Once he signs, it's too late. We got you now.
He has too much leverage. He's like Robert Downey. Robert Downey after the first Avengers, he started signing one movie
Yeah.
contracts.
And
No
making
more.
lots of money. He's gonna
You
make
gotta
a
go
lot
pay
of
me.
movie off of Doomsday. Money, a lot of money
Yeah, dude. They already. I think they put either 75 million or 150 million. It was one of it's in that range. That's a lot
for
of
one
money,
movie.
bro. So yeah, yeah. The budget with the directors and him alone is close to $300 million. That's just those three people. Like so, because the Russo brothers and then Robert Downey, that's almost $300 million of your budget right there.
Yeah, because we already talked about
But
the
hey,
budget.
that's
We
neither
already
here.
talked it's like, what, 1,000,000,000?
Yeah,
Close to 1,000,000,000?
yeah. It's a ridiculous amount of money. Um, but hey, I it's not my money. I don't care. But I just want a good product. That's how I look at it. Like people get mad at sports teams about how they spending in their salary cap and say you're paying this player too much. It's not your money, dude. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
I don't care. But yeah. No, overall, I guess to end this topic, what phase do you think was better? 4 or 5?
4. I enjoyed 4 more because I was able to follow it a little bit better because I had the time. Yeah, 4 was definitely
I
4
I
was
I
definitely
would.
better.
I
4
agree.
was definitely better because,
Yeah.
like, me in these shows, I really don't be watching, and I had the time to watch 4, so, yeah, 4 was better.
Mhm. I agree. I think 4 is better. I think 5 may have well, the biggest highlight of 5, we already agree, is Deadpool and Wolverine. What would you say is the highlight of 4? Spider-Man: No Way Home?
Hell yeah. Yeah.
Probably. Probably. Yeah.
Because like,
Yeah.
that opened up a lot of different things too. Because Spider-Man: No Way Home gave us direct link to, Multiverse of Madness, which is gonna give us a direct
Mhm.
link to, I forgot the next movie uh, Doctor Strange is gonna be in, but, yeah, no, I lost my train of thought, but
Mm.
yeah, No Way Home was
No,
amazing.
you're good. Yeah. I would say 4. Loki, but the thing about it, Loki was in Bill 4, but Loki was in 4 phase 4 and 5. So Loki season 1 was 4, Loki season 2 was 5. So he's in both phases. I love Hawkeye. So yeah, I would say 4. And I think although 5 had really good highlights, they also had some really low lights, to lack of a
Mhm.
better term. Secret Invasion was awful. Secret Invasion was terrible. And I feel bad because it could have been so much better.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed
Could have been
Secret
so
Invasion. It was a
I liked it, like, as a
yeah.
fan, but it could have
I
been
just
better,
couldn't
if that
believe,
makes sense.
Nick Fury's out here clapping alien cheeks, but it was still
Yeah, that's insane.
it was still a good show to me.
Yo, that's crazy. That is
I was like, "What is
crazy,
going on,
bro.
man?"
Hey, man, some people like it like that, bro. It is what it is. Um, oh, man, no, so, yeah, I think most people would agree, though. I think most people would say Phase 4 is probably better. Even though it was all over the
Yeah.
place, I think it had better, like, stuff put out.